The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
All right. So I'm here with Rhino, Mr. Ryan Smith, and he's joined with us today. We're going to be talking specifically about Ryan's journey inside of the Habit-Based Lifestyle Business Accelerator program. He's been in the program for approximately 3 weeks, and he is literally on fire. Not only with this program, but just in general in life. So I want to welcome you, Ryan, today, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jesse. It's truly an honor to be here. I'm very grateful.
Well, I'm grateful you're here, man. So one thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is your story and just basically where you were prior to starting this program. Can you talk a little bit about how long you've had your program and the success you've had and just kind of where you were at before you started?
Yes, sir. I've started about 2 years, but I really started with it full time about 16, 17 months ago, and then went through a divorce, which really, kind of sidetracked everything. I was still trying to effectively build it, but I wasn't building it. It was just dead end streets everywhere over the last 15 months. I was doing, $3,000 to $4,000, maybe $4,500 a month, which is not any money worth at all. The best month I had was around $6,000. I think it was around 5,700 and some change. And, you and I had speaking on and off for a couple of years, but really for the last several months, we had connected on more than one occasion about me, needing help because what I was doing was not working, obviously.
Sure. Yeah. So, when we kind of started getting more into conversations around you coaching and you just offering your service. I think the hard part was I think you were you were committed to kind of figuring it out on your own for a while. And, one thing I kind of noticed was it was almost like you didn't want to ask for help, but you knew you needed help.
Yes, sir. That's a very fair assessment. I definitely needed help. It was, that old, cliche that we all struggle with as men, that pride and ego, kind of getting in the way of, needing help, wanting help, but, not having the strength or the fortitude to ask for help, literally just straight up ask for help. And, it was just one of those scenarios where the timing really with the entry point of you into my life a couple years ago, and then the way that you've, played a role in my life over the last 2 years, and then kind of the reassertion of you and your business and your services over the last couple of months really has been a godsend.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. So let me ask you this, 6 weeks ago, where were you at?
6 weeks ago, I could say with almost complete certainty, I had hit another ultimate low just as a man, from an emotional, mental, spiritual perspective. Physically, I was still moving along pretty good. because that's kind of always been, you know, my escape route, or my sedation is just embed myself in the gym. But I had emotionally, mentally just collapsed, from a spiritual perspective. I had collapsed, and you and I had a Zoom call scheduled, and I was literally on, and you know this, I was literally on the backside of about a 48-hour binge. I mean, I was not sober. You know, I had drank myself into a complete oblivion over a couple of days, and you shot me the message. It reminded me of the Zoom call, and I was just sitting there in my chair in my living room, moping, you know, on my pity pot. And I just told myself, I said, you know what, you know the role he's played in your life, you know the impact that he's made, and I really saw that as a fork in the road. And I said to myself, I said, you're gonna do this call, and I'm sure you could tell by my presence on the call, I was just not in a good place.
Sure.
I mean, I had a hard time even making eye contact with you because you know how that guilt and shame, you know, sets in. But what you did that day to really just be a friend, you know, and a man inside, you know, that place for me, and not even discuss business. And we picked that call back up in a couple of weeks. You know, you challenged me that day, and I know you was waiting to see how I responded.
Yeah, I mean, if you know, just to be fully transparent, I had full intention to sell you into my program that day, and if people are watching this, it's like I got on the call expecting to be on a sales call. Well, when you showed up, I was like, oh shit, like the last thing this guy needs is me to try to sell him. And so my whole goal for the call completely shifted. You know, and I was just kind of like, man, what do you need from me, you know, at this point in time to kind of help you? And, you know, I think the biggest thing I helped you do is just get clear on what you wanted moving forward and how you would get there to do that. And really what I challenged you with was like, listen, man, if you want to work with me, these are the things that you're going to have to do in
Right.
order to get to this place. And, you know, I challenged you because I knew you would take that on as a challenge for yourself. Because most of the time when guys are challenged, they rise up to the challenge or they shrink to it, one of the two. But they don't play in the middle.
Right.
So yeah, I was super. Well, 3 weeks later, man, it was like somebody got lit on fire, and then we kind of came back to the same conversation like 3 weeks later, and you end up signing up for the program, you know, and then now fast forward, you know, how many days have you been sober?
Today's 46.
Yeah, so that's amazing. 46 days sober. Um, you know, when's the last time you were 46 days sober?
Prior to my relapse, when I filed for divorce, and I won't speak too long about this. You know, I had been sober for years,
Okay.
years of sobriety, and because I just don't drink. I mean, it's like you said, me and alcohol is like gasoline in a fire, and then I relapsed last year, and it had been on and off for the last year, but I think 21 days over the
Okay.
last year. So, I mean, this, you know, this is the longest I've been since I relapsed after my divorce.
Yeah, man, I'm super proud of you and just watching your growth, you know, in the last 46 days and watch you really rise up. And so I want to really get into what's been the results for you. You've been in the program about 3 weeks. You know, what have the results been? Let's talk financially first, and then we're going to talk more about, you know, mindset and things like that as we go along.
Well, at 3 weeks in, you know, counting the sale that I got today, it puts me at 19 grand in sales in right at 22 days, which is, the most successful financial month I have ever had in my life was 16 grand a couple years back. And so, just at 3.5 weeks, I've already surpassed that. And, it's, I came into this, with a mindset, cause I believe in you, so I came into this with a mindset that as long as I followed the playbook, it would work, and I consider myself an extremely coachable person, but it's like a conversation we had earlier, the thought of a 20, 30, 40, $50,000 month. I mean, I think someone would have to pinch me and wake me up. I mean, that's still hard for me to wrap my mind around, but it's obviously a reality.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think it's a big reality for you, and you're kind of stepping into that, seeing that, hey, dude, I have so much more potential inside of me. So here's the thing, man, is like, you say you believe in me, but you don't believe in me because you believe in you. You see the reflection in me coming back on you, and there's a belief in that. And so, the one thing I want to point out is, like, if you didn't see belief in me, you wouldn't see it in you.
I agree with that completely. Yes.
So when you see belief in me, it's really just a reflection of you seeing belief in you. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to carry you forward.
Right.
Okay. Like, I'm just the guy holding the mirror, and you're the guy that gets to see the reflection of that. And I'm the guy willing to hold it for you and tell you, hey, man, look in the mirror.
Sure.
Okay. So like, yes, there's numbers. Like, dude, you've improved tremendously with numbers, but like, what has been the biggest thing that's changed for you just being in this program the last 3 weeks, from a, mindset, from a, support system? Because I do remember a call we had. You're like, man, I feel like I don't have anybody. And I said, man, you got people all around you that want to support you, but you just don't see them. You just, you're not connecting with them.
Yeah. The structure of the program is very palatable to what I like from, with a military background and, growing up with a military father, just having structure and regimen. The way that you have the program set up, and I won't get into the details of that unless you want to, but just the way that you have the training set up, the online training, the virtual training, the group meetings. I mean, it's just, it really plays into my strong points of wanting to be part of a team, feeling like I am part of a team, and being able to share the way that you have our communication channel set up, where everybody gets to share in everybody else's victory. And one thing about it that really impresses me, because I've been in programs similar to this. I was in one first of the year for 8 weeks, and the lady's extremely successful, won multiple 2 Comma Club awards, but she was absent. I mean, we paid money to be in this group, and we'd see her once a week for training, and it was, you're active with us. It's like I feel like you're like in the foxhole with us, so to speak, and you're commenting on stuff that we put in there. You're communicating with us. You're calling us out. I mean, you're being a real coach, not just a figurehead
Right.
that was trying to sell a program and let them figure it out. I mean, you're hands on as like I told you a couple of days ago. I've never been a part of anything, in my opinion, like this.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Thank you so much. Is there anything else like that's changed for you or helped you just in the last 3 weeks?
Yes, sir. The mindset, I actually, building the camaraderie. I did a Zoom call this morning with Erky for about an hour. We just sat and talked, and, talked about some warrior stuff and, his career, my career. We just built, another solid friendship. And
so like the community aspect of it's been huge for you.
Yeah. The community, I'm big on community, and which, I don't know if a lot of men are like that or not, but I mean, and I don't look at it as a competitive perspective. I see it as just being part of a family where we can actually, love, support, and encourage, and, call each other out when we need it. I mean, it feels like a family to me. And I love that aspect of it.
Yeah. I think what a lot of people don't know is, this is a team. Yeah. I like to think of habit-based lifestyle as like a team of like business owners who are all, kind of like fighting this battle, but they're not having to do it by themselves. They're able to do it in a group, in a community where each person's supporting each other, encouraging each other, like you said. But like ultimately we're all going in the same direction. We're kind of like the tip of the spear. And, we're we're a group of like badass business owners who are like, making a difference in the lives of people that we get to work with.
Yes, sir. That is very true. And one of the other things that I don't want to overlook that I think is vitally important is how you have, it's like when we build our body, like when we diet and we train. I mean, there's a science, to getting in great shape. There's a science to how we plan our meals out and understanding the things that we eat and what we don't eat. I didn't realize there was this much, and science may not be the right word, but just this much technical, strategic plans to social media. I mean, I'd heard about algorithms and things like that over the last 2 or 3 years, but the way that it's like my likes and comments and stuff is just skyrocketed. I mean, I can't even believe it at this point, how much attention posting something that I wouldn't even think to post generates so much activity.
Yeah. I mean, I think the bigger thing is, yes, there's that side of it, but then there's also this other side where you're actually communicating with the right message with the right people. And it's done in a very strategic way. And so what we've done is, what I've done is I had to learn kind of the hard way of like going through all these programs. But I realized like out there in the majority of business programs that I'd done, the sole focus was, on building a business while you kind of burned everything else down. And the focus of this is we ultimately want you to create a lifestyle business that is you're living your lifestyle you ultimately want, and you have an actual business system of how to actually generate real money and qualified leads, people who already know you, like you, and trust you. And so what you're seeing is the result of that is you're getting in front of the right people. There's more people commenting on your stuff because you're giving them more relevant stuff, and you're actually like hitting them with what they actually want versus kind of like what we think they want. And I think that's something sometimes that goes unnoticed. And, that's obviously because of, you look at the results you've gotten in the last 3 weeks.
Yes, sir. And the client that I signed this morning, it actually was generated through a post that you had made a couple of days ago that I kind of mimicked, changed the wording around, and made it, usable for my business. And I had a ton of, attention to it and requests and feedback. And the client that I signed up today, I didn't even know I was friends with him. I didn't know who he was. And I had no idea he was from my hometown. I mean, of 2,000 people. So it's really been eye-opening to me on just how much of an opportunity there is through a program like this, where, you're really just focusing on building relationships with people around things that they want to talk about. And then there's no hard sale. It's just like, I'm just there. I mean, I haven't had anything what I would consider a hard sale. I mean, I feel like just when people reaching out to me saying, hey, I see you do this, I see these results, I need help.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, I look at it as like, that's actually, someone being attracted to you. And when someone's attracted to you, there's no hard sell. When you're only attracted to someone else, then there's a very hard sell, because you actually have to actively go after them. This style of, business model you're doing is they're attracted to you. I always use the analogy of, the guy sitting at the bar. Sure, you could ask 100, you could ask 100 women for a date at the bar. Chances are, one or two will probably say yes, depending on how late you ask them. But, if you're there and you're sitting in the right spot and you're saying the right things, eventually they start asking you rather than you asking them. And then, maybe you have 50 out of 100.
That's right.
So let me ask you this, man. What would you tell someone who's on the fence? Because I mean, there's probably people like you who maybe were on the fence for 2 or 3 months prior to actually making the move. But what would you say to those people that are on the fence?
I simply would just reiterate my own experience with being on the fence. And it was, basically what I told you a few days ago. I have caught myself, looking back over the last 60, 90 days. And I can't help but ask myself the question, what if I'd have started then? What if I'd have gotten off the fence then? And I know that's neither here nor there, but it goes to show you how much fear plays a factor in our decisions on whether to jump or not jump, or to go or not go. And I can always look back upon these moments where I was on the fence, especially with you, because, I know our history goes back a couple of years ago, but you did my hot seat on Warrior when I actually started this business. I mean, you were the one that led me through that. And it was, you got all over me, because you was looking at my landing page, and I had no concept of the data, systems, and structures, and anything like that. And so if someone's on the fence with this program, the best thing you can do is to just hop off the fence onto this side of the Habit-Based Lifestyle Business Accelerator program, because you've created something that's rooted in results, and you've done all the legwork. I mean, I've seen your podcasts and your videos, and I know how much money you've invested over the last 3 to 4 years in coaching. And so you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting an individual that's been successful from a business perspective for multiple years, and now he's done it in a completely different industry with a completely new system that's duplicatable, completely duplicatable.
Yeah.
And so I would just encourage them to there's no other reason to sit on the fence other than excuses and fear, because I was sitting on the fence because of excuses and fear.
Awesome, man. Is there anything else that you want to add?
No, just a big thank you to you for that day, that Zoom call. You invested in over an hour of your time into a man that was obviously extremely broken emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And, you breathed life into a situation that day. And it's, like I said the other day, you were able to sit inside that moment with me, but still be man enough from a coaching perspective to not coddle me or babysit me, but to like you say, be a coach, hold someone accountable, call them out, challenge them, and you did that. You helped me deal with the pain, but then you also challenged me to make a decision. Either you're going to get up and get out of this or you're not. And I'll forever be grateful for that conversation.
Yeah, man, just pay it forward. I know you'll have lots of opportunities to do that.
Yes, I sure will.
Well, hey, man, I'm super proud of you. Super excited you're in the program, not only crushing it, in business, but just that you're staying sober and, you're working on you and just getting that right. And I can't wait to see what you do in the coming months.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the next. I'm counting the days down for the rest of the year, because I'm going to make every one of them count. And 2021 is going to be my best year ever.
Well, we're going to finish this year strong. So This may be still your best year ever too.
Yeah. Well, it's well on its way.
All right, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you later on.
All right, brother. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Okay. You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse